What's up, everybody? It's Mr. You Know Who from XMI Gaming, and today, guys, I'm bringing you the news about the termination of the PlayStation Home and what's going on and what's about to take place. So, yeah, Sony just dropped the bomb about the termination of the PlayStation Home and why it's closing down. So, first things first, as of today, PlayStation Home update September 26, 2014, the PlayStation has been serving the PS3 community since December 2008. So, it's already been 6 years after the PlayStation Home has come out. So, right now, they're stating that they're going to cease publishing new content as of November 12, 2014 for the PlayStation Home. And in US and Canada, you'll be able to download content up till December 3rd, 2014. So I want to talk about this whole issue, why it's happening, my opinion on what Sony needs to do to fix this, and just an overall view of the PlayStation Home. So first things first, I've been on the PlayStation Home a couple of times. I used it back, I would say 2011, 2012, and it was a great feature. I did like it. However, it did lack certain content. Yes, it was social media. You can go in there with your friends and have a conversation or a group chat. You can make your own character, but it didn't really have anything that I wanted to see. It was nothing to offer. I can't speak for everybody else, but it's like it's been in development in beta for so long that you would have thought that the PlayStation Home at some point would have been final on the PlayStation, period. Like, no beta, this is the final product, this is what you can do, and they expand. But it's always been beta. So now they decided to cease the PlayStation Home, and it's like they could have expanded on the PlayStation Home so much in so many different ways and waste all that time to finally close it down. I'm going to assume the reason why behind it, they're closing it down. Obviously, no money. I know millions of people were on PlayStation Home because I went on a couple of times. But I really got to say that, with the whole thing on PlayStation Home, I was hoping that they would expand on it, develop more content, and actually make it something that it was very interactive. But me personally, I didn't really go on it that much. My number one issue with the PlayStation Home was the whole thing about paying for content, the loading. I hate to go on the PlayStation Home and have to load, and download this and that. So that was a turn off for me. However, just because it was a turn off for me doesn't mean it's a turn off for other people. And to see it go after 6 years of, in the making, it's kind of sad, man. Again, Sony could have did something with this, and more feedback from the people who use it and expand. I just think that certain elements that was in the PlayStation Home wasn't really doing it for nobody. Yeah, you can play a couple of games free. You can go to the movies, and you could watch a couple of trailers from movies and stuff. But ask yourself, what did the PlayStation Home have to offer? It was something like you on it for maybe 5-10 minutes and then you're done. People lose interest. There's only but so much little free games that you can play all day long until you want to move on. Now, I want to also talk about an issue that I'm seeing, and this is for me particularly. You're shutting down the PlayStation Home. You're closing it down. And people bought content for the PlayStation Home. How are you going to address the issue about the people who spent the hard-earned money, bought clothes for the character, furniture, so on, and then turn around and tell them that, PlayStation Home is closing? You own all this content, but you can't use it. So it defeats the purpose of even owning the content. So what am I gonna do with it? Just have it? So I believe that Sony should compensate those people who spend a substantial amount of money on the PlayStation Home and reimburse them with a credit for all that content. Because basically I have content that I can't use due to the fact the PlayStation Home is closing. What am I supposed to do with this? And I think that's unfair on Sony's end to do that to people. They should compensate you for the amount that you spent and issue a store credit to use for other content on the PlayStation Network. Bottom line. I mean, I haven't heard Sony say anything about that. And that to me makes me mad. I hate to buy content. I don't care if it was $20, $50, $100. If I spent my hard-earned money and you tell me that, then what? Let's say I bought $50 worth of content right now. In less than a few months, I can't even use it anymore. And is Sony going to address that? They should. So, back to the topic. Yeah, so those PlayStation Home is closing down. And it's just not in U.S. It's U.S., China, Asia, Canada. They just have different dates. And if I was you guys, I would call customer service and start yelling at them or write them a letter and letting them know, like, hey, it's one thing to close a PlayStation store and it's another to reimburse people for the content they bought, because if it closes, what am I going to do with the content that I have? And that's really a sad issue right now. I mean, PlayStation does some things that's backwards, but let's say this, they close the PlayStation Home. What else is coming? All right, it's gone. Are they going to expand on and use the whole PlayStation Home for something else? Or are they bringing a PlayStation Plus home or what? But yeah, man, guys, it's closing down. They say they're going to be giving out free content prior to the platform closure, which is, again, March 31st, 2015. But what's the point in giving out free content if you know you're going to close down? Sorry about that noise, guys. I had the window open. It's just a sad day, man. I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to address this. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation, get your stuff together, man. You can't just be pulling the plug from under people and don't give people adequate enough time to sit there and be like, this, that, and the third. You're giving us a few months, cool. However, people started to, get accustomed to the PlayStation Home, especially for those who use it. I personally never used it after two and a half years. Me and my buddies went on a couple of times. We, watched a couple of trailers, played a little bowling, but nothing more, nothing less. So, yeah, guys, I just wanted to report the news to you so that you know what's going on. So in a few months, if you see the PlayStation Home icon stay there, but it's not working, you already know what it is. Now, what can we do for now? Enjoy it while it lasts. That's all I can tell you. But as always, leave a comment below. If there's anything you guys want to say, leave a comment below. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up and a like. If you like my channel, subscribe. But as always, it's Mr. You Know Who from XMI Gaming. Check out my gaming channel. And peace.